Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the weather. We thank you for what you've been doing for Salem County. We ask you to continue. Our Heavenly Father, we ask you to be with those that serve us, that not only our employees, but those first responders that come out and take care of us. Lord, we ask you to keep them safe. Lord, we ask you to be with the meeting tonight. We ask that, dear God, that your will be nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. We ask this in your almighty name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You see it?
Adequate notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given of this meeting by forwarding notice to the South Jersey Times and Elmer Times Company, and by posting notice on the bulletin board in the Salem County Courthouse in the 5th Street Office Complex, and by filing notice in the offices of the Salem County Clerk and the Clerk of the Board, all having been done at least 48 hours in advance.
Roll call, please.
Director Benjamin Laurie.
Here.
Deputy Director Scott Grissom.
Here.
Freeholder Charles Hassler.
Here.
Freeholder Gordon Osler.
Here.
Freeholder Lee Ware.
Present.
We have one, sir.
Thank you. Freeholder, what's your pleasure with the minutes?
Director, I move we dispense from the reading of the minutes of the September 16, 2020 regular meeting. The minutes are to be received, approved, and recorded in the minutes.
Second. I have a motion to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Approved unanimous. Special recognition, Harold is not here. We're going to take care of this later, but we will be making Harold a member of Mayor's for the Baltimore Mayor's. So we're so proud of him and what he's done for this county. So happy to see Harold. See him well. Give him a fist bump. And he'll help us with many things. We're glad to have him as part of this county and the heritage that he brings with it. We do have a presentation tonight from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs and Shared Services. And I think it's Rick.
We're up.
I think you're up.
Very good. Let me get one of the stars on. Thank you for having us tonight. And the two stars couldn't make it down. One had a birthday and the other one had another commitment up in North Jersey. So he'll be coming on in a second. Hi Nick, how are you? I'm at the freeholders meeting right now, and it's your baby. You can do your introduction.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone, and for making this time available to us, and Rick for making the trip. And I'm sorry I couldn't be here in person. 3 years ago, actually that was only 3.5 years ago, when candidate Murphy was running for governor. In one of the debates, a reporter said, "If you become governor, how are you
anything from the freeholders? No. Okay, then we'll go ahead with the slideshow. And audience, please excuse my back, but I'm addressing the members of the Salem County freeholders. One of the things that we like to talk about is the fact that we need to expand shared services, especially today with the COVID-19 issues that are going on. A little background on myself. I'm a retired police chief from Essex County, New Jersey, and I've been working for the Department of Community Affairs over 20 years. In fact, I give a lot of kudos to Salem County. The older director just signed a document with us to do a feasibility study for the Salem District schools. So, as the czar was talking to you about earlier, there's $150,000 that we're pledging to the Salem County School District and the Freeholders Board to do a feasibility study, take all the school districts and put them all into one. So you have one superintendent running all the school districts down in Salem County. What does it do? It saves money for the taxpayers. Obviously, it increases, with these increasing budgets today that's going on with COVID-19 and the issues with people complaining about taxes all the time, we want to reduce some of the existing redundancies of layers that we have in whether it's a school district or a municipality. Obviously, in the school district, it would be the many superintendents that you would have, and then it would be reduced to one superintendent that would end up running the organization. The next slide is the purpose for our program today, is to illustrate how the Murphy administration has committed to shared services, savings tax dollars for New Jersey residents. Identify the most efficient and effective ways to deliver service and to demonstrate how these services can optimize cost savings while safeguarding. One of the things that the czar talked about earlier is that when we get a call within 6 hours, we respond to the person who made the call. And we have this program that in my office, I'm the bureau chief in charge of many professionals. I have about 18 people that work for me. And they're business administrators, CFOs, people from the Department of Public Works. You have myself, who's a retired police chief, we have fire experts. And what happens is if somebody calls us on the phone and says, hey, I need some help, I want you to come in and look at my fire department, I want you to come in and look at my police department, I want you to come in and look at the DPW, we'll come in and do that study for you for free. That's the commitment that the Murphy administration has made for this organization, for the Department of Community Affairs. My immediate boss is Director Walters, who is the director of the local finance board. And her immediate supervisor is the lieutenant governor, Sheila Murphy. We deal with her all the time on day-to-day issues that come up. And we can easily speak with her about anything that comes up dealing with shared services. In fact, just recently she issued a newsletter to all the municipalities talking about the issues that deal with shared services in the local assistance bureau. So I want to emphasize to you that the Murphy administration is here to stand with you and help you do shared services or to conduct surveys. Some of the things that we like to talk about is facility sharing. And I think that many of the towns now are starting to do facility sharing. That's when you're sharing one DPW building for two towns. Capital sharing. You know, municipalities can't afford bulldozers and heavy equipment. So what they're doing now is they're entering into agreements where they can share the equipment. And we hope that the county would be thoughtful about that process also. Key positioning sharing. So we have a DPW director who's certified by the Department of Community Affairs, and the neighboring town has somebody leaving. Well, then maybe you could share that director with them and give them that service. Department mergers. The czar's talked about that with the fire department, the police department, and DPW. And contracted services. Another kudos for Salem County. I think when I read the newspaper recently, you guys are entering into an agreement with Cumberland County for the detention center. Everybody nodded once, yes. Again, kudos to you guys for doing that. We just completed one up in Sussex and Morris County, and the czars were very helpful to us because they live up in Morris and Union County area, where we have Sussex going to Morris County to do prisoner transportation and detention. And then I was just following up with Cumberland the other day, and they said that they're moving their detention facilities over here to Salem County for you guys to end up taking the prisoners over, am I correct?
Some, not all.
Not all. Okay. Well, juvenile or female or?
Both, we're still in the final negotiations up and finally, but a lot of those prisoners are from Atlanta County and the shared service. We're gonna be taking some, we're taking, right now, we're taking all Boston counties.
Okay. But then again, like I said, kudos to Salem County because, you know, you're stepping up and taking on a lot of these things. I think up in Essex County, they're taking on Hudson County and Union County in their jail facilities. So it's definitely moving into the 21st century with things that are going on, especially with the bail reform, where people are not held for a long period of time anymore. You know, they're released on a summons after the judge looks at the probable cause on the case. The next item I wanted to bring to your attention was, since the czars came into the program with Governor Murphy, we've increased our shared service agreements with the communities. We've topped out at over 1,500. And you can see on some of these, there were some years that they only had like 103 or 114 or 197 shared service agreements. And you can see when the czars came in, it jumped up to 600 and then 900, and we've got close to 1,500. And just this year alone, even with the pandemic, we're dealing with over 400 shared service agreements. Salem County. This is what we have for Salem County on record. Maybe take a few minutes to look at it and see how many shared services there are. One of the ones I wanted to emphasize to you is the one in Carney's Point with Pennsville. They're doing the joint work there. They're saving like $500,000 over a 3-year period doing the municipal court there. And I think Salem's also doing municipal court building with Salem County. Yes? Sounds good? Right. And then we have another shared agreement in Lower Alloys and doing another shared service with trash and recycling. The next item is the funding. The czar spoke to you about this, the leak funding that came out from the governor's office, as we stated, at $10 million this year. And there's 3 types of grants: challenge grant, there's implementation grant, and there's county coordinator scholarship. One of the things I want to emphasize to the county is that you should hire someone for a fellowship position. It's $50,000. We pay the salary, you pay their health care. And they can come on board and be a shared service coordinator for your group. And then what we'll do is we'll have them come up and we'll train them in our office for the position. And then they'll work for you for 2 years based on the law, these grant funds. Challenge grant talks about thinking outside the box, which I think we've talked about with Salem County and the Salem school districts. The implementation is when you put 2 of them together and you need startup costs. A lot of times it deals with police departments or the schools, or even the DPW, where you want to put the 2 Department of Public Works together. And if you do so, what happens is you may have some startup costs that are associated with it. Maybe building needs to be modified, you need to buy some signage for the trucks, maybe color the trucks all the same. And then again, there's the county coordinator fellowship grant, which is $50,000 for each position. One of the things that I want to emphasize to you is we've already spoke about the school district, but I just wanted to show you how many other ones that we have. In Lambertville, they're doing economic development. In North Wildwood, they're doing fire districts. We already spoke about already in Lineville. We have another one for Chester, Mendon, going to Court, Woolwich. I think you guys are familiar with Woolwich down here. They're doing South Harrison's police department, and they're doing the court system for them. Very, very progressive program. And there's a couple of school districts that are also in here. Roosevelt, Hunterdon. And one of the other things that I picked up on, again, I don't know if this is going on with the holders down here, is the medical examiner's office. Up in Passaic, Bourbon County, and Essex are going to do a program that deals with the medical examiner's office. So all the counties can go to one spot.
Share it all.
You share one? Yes. Excellent idea. So the main thing I want to emphasize here is that we want you to stay tuned for the next round of grants. You know, the budget was just signed by the governor, and my boss is going to be putting out an announcement soon. We want everybody to take advantage of it. You can see right here that I gave you the telephone numbers and the emails for everyone to get in touch with. One of the other things that the czar was talking about is we conduct studies for free. Again, you need somebody to come in and look at the administrator's office or look at the DPW. I would hope that you would tell your constituents and mayors and other towns that they do these for free. We provide political support. I think the czar already spoke to you about that. Grant funding that we have, we spoke about previously. And we have many types of mentorships that we talked about with the czars. And we have a point of contact that you can always call in and speak to me, and I'll direct you to the right person that you need to get some help. Again, that's my phone number and my email. Question? Any? We're all going to sign up, we're all going to get lead grants, right? I got a couple of heads shaking. Okay.
What kind of grant was it we received for the school study? Was that a lead grant?
No, that was a implementation grant. Yeah, $150,000 for that. But you can go higher on, you know, the challenge grants. And it's all based on points. To give you an example, Monmouth County put in 2 individual areas put in for Monmouth County grant. Monmouth County itself got it, but they were doing some kind of flood program that would affect everyone in Monmouth County. But one of the school districts wanted to merge a garage with the DPW for town. We weren't able to do that, but we put them in the next cycle, because you can get only one out of each county. But the main thing is, they were trying to come up with a lift in a building so that they could change the oil and service the buses, just like they changed the oil and service the snowplows and other trucks. So they wanted to put them all together. So here's the town and the Board of Education working together to try and make this thing work out. And you know, it's only tax dollars that you're saving for these people. You know, every dollar counts. It's important. No questions from anyone?
I realize that it's early in the program, but your numbers suggest that you can come up with 1,500 examples of shared services. And I just wondered if you can give us an idea of the economic impact that has had on increasing tax expenditures, possibly ultimately improving the tax rate for the municipality involved.
You know, it's an interesting question you bring up. When we do a study, we actually show a table. We have an auditor that works on our program with us. And he looks at the budget from a municipality and B municipality. And then we tell them in the public session, like we have here with the governing bodies, how much the municipality is going to save on their tax bill. So we did one recently up in Belmar, New Jersey, Monmouth County, and Lake Como. And we took 2 departments and we put them together. And when we did the study, it was a $400 savings on their tax bill. And you know that that's just not $400 for 1 year. That's $400 every succeeding year just by combining 2 departments into one. So the auditor does the numbers. We clarify it at the public session. Sometimes the auditor will come with us. We actually have a slide that we put up there, and it shows what the tax rate is, how much they're paying for paying on a tax home, and how much the evaluations will go down on the house if we go with the shared service.
Thank you.
No one else? you guys are. So thanks for your attendance today and listening to me jabber on about the shared service program. I hope that we can drum up some visits down here in Salem. Thank you.
Rick,
Nick?
Thank you, Rick. That was wonderful.
Okay.
Rick, we look forward to working with you in the future on some other endeavors, so thank you so much.
It was a pleasure coming in. Thank you.
I'm sure you'll hear from us.
I hope so.
Take one moment now, towards the end of the meeting, we'll be having public comment. If you have a comment on this presentation or anything we talk about coming forward or in the past, please, if you're online, can you type it in and we'll address it at the end of the meeting. So at any time during the meeting you have a question, please type it in. We'll give you some time at the end of the meeting also to type anything in that comes up. So, do we have a waiver of the rules?
Yes, we have one waiver of the rules. A9, resolution awarding a contract for a consultant to prepare a high-level feasibility study for unification of Salem County school districts.
Do I have a motion for waiver of the rules?
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? This is the study we're doing. So we're doing that tonight. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Public hearing. Correspondence, what's your pleasure?
Director, I make a motion that the following correspondence, department reports and committees, be accepted, filed, and made more of a minutes.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Passed unanimous. You'll notice a lot of the resolutions are to exclude the use of mail-in ballots. A lot of municipalities, a lot of counties are trying to reach out to the governor to not use exclusive use of mail-in ballots. So I think we have resolutions to that effect also. Yes. Payments and bills and claims, what's your pleasure?
Director, I move that all bills and claims are properly signed and audited be paid and charged to their respective accounts.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Pass unanimous. Treasurer's report. No treasurer's report tonight. Resolutions, Administration Committee.
A1, resolution appointing members of the Salem Community College Board of Trustees. A2, resolution authorizing change order number 1 to the contract for supplying one new self-contained breathing apparatus filling station for the Salem County Office of Emergency Management. A3, resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting for providing free healthcare shuttles for transportation of Salem County senior residents 60 years or older, persons with a disability under 60, and general population in a designated rural area pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-4.1. A4, resolution for check cancellations. A5, resolution authorizing an application to the Center for Tech and Civic Life for the funding of COVID-19 election response grants, county code. A6, resolution authorizing an application to the Center for Tech and Civic Life for funding the COVID-19 election response grants, Board of Elections. A7, resolution authorizing a memorandum of agreement between the County of Salem and the Communication Workers of America, Local 1085. A8, resolution authorizing a direct inmate housing contract between the County of Cumberland for housing Cumberland County adult male and female inmates at the Salem County Jail. And A9, resolution awarding a contract for a consultant to prepare high-level feasibility study for the unification of Salem County school districts.
You've heard the reading of these 9 resolutions. What's your pleasure?
Director, I move that we accept these 9 resolutions. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If you notice, A8 is the housing and community shared services we were talking about earlier. And A9 is the shared services, or actually feasibility for unification of Salem County School District. So we're proactive in our trying to share services. So kudos to the staff and freedom. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, if you raise your right hand. Yes, unanimous. Economic Development, Public Works.
C1, resolution approving engineering scope change order number 2 for professional services agreement soil and groundwater remediation Federal Building, City of Salem, for the County of Salem. And A2, resolution renewing a contract for the removal of beam guide rail and installation of beam guide rail at various locations throughout the County of Salem.
For the reading of these 2 resolutions, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Director, I motion that we adopt these 2 resolutions.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Passed unanimously. Health and Human Services, Education.
D1, resolution authorizing an agreement with the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse for the Municipal Alliance to Prevent Alcoholism and Drug Abuse for October 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. D2, resolution authorizing grant application for the 2021 Comprehensive Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Services Contract. D3, resolution to accept and execute a grant for the State of New Jersey for the 2020-2021 Local Core Capacity Infrastructure for Bioterrorism Preparedness. D4, resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the County of Salem, the Salem County Department of Health and Human Services, and Salem Medical Center. D5, resolution authorizing freeholder director and the clerk for the Board of Chosen Freeholders for the County of Salem to sign the 2020-2021 County Environmental Health Act grant application. D6, resolution amending the hepatitis grant, COVID. D7, resolution acknowledging the standardized board resolution form from the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the Medicare Improvements for Patients and Providers Act, MIPA grant. D8, resolution supporting the Salem County Office on Aging and Disabilities to accept the Salem County Health and Wellness Foundation's grant from the match portion to 5311 Rural Non-Urbanized Grant provided by New Jersey Transit Corporation. D9, resolution authorizing the filing of an application to the New Jersey Transit Corporation on behalf of the Salem County Office on Aging and Disabilities for the 2021 Rural 5311 Non-Urbanized Transportation Grant. D10, resolution acknowledging the business associate agreement for the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the Medicare Improvements for Patients and Providers Act, MIPA grant. D11, resolution approving the submission of an application to New Jersey Department of Human Services Division of Aging Services for Medicare Insurance Patients and Providers Act, MIPA grant.
You've heard the reading of these two resolutions. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Director, I make a motion we approve these 11 resolutions.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous vote. Public Safety.
E1, resolution authorizing a grant application submission to the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety by the Prosecutor's Office for Operation Helping Hand Reimbursement Grant Funding, grant number FYOHH-17-2020. E2, resolution approving submission of a grant application by the Prosecutor's Office for the State of New Jersey grant programs administered by the Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Administration pursuant to the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, VAWA-47-19. E3, resolution approving submission of a grant application by the Prosecutor's Office for the State of New Jersey grant programs administered by the Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Administration pursuant to the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA-47-18. E4, resolution authorizing an application to the Office of Homeland Security Preparedness for funding the federal fiscal year 20 Homeland Security Grant Program. E5, resolution to accept and execute grant from the Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness for the County of Salem. E6, resolution authorizing a grant application for a Project Lifesaver International grant from Alzheimer's Foundation for America for the Sheriff's Office. E7, resolution extending a contract with the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs for the Division of Transportation Services for veterans for the period September 30th, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Reading of these 7 resolutions. Reorder to the pleasure.
Director, I move that we approve these 7 resolutions.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous accepted. Chapter 159, insert revenue in the budget.
F1, resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1948, Hepatitis A grant COVID. F2, resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1948-FFY20, Homeland Security Grant Program. F3, resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1948, Local Core Capacity Infrastructure for Bioterrorism Preparedness. F4, resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1948, Municipal Alliance to Prevent Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. And F5, resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1948, Veterans Transportation.
Second.
I have a motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Approved unanimous. Pre-orders, do we have any, do we have any old business? Pre-orders, any new business? Pre-orders, public announcements, Charlie, do you have any public announcements?
There aren't too many things that aren't canceled. And the one thing that I do have is a thing here, I asked Pat to look at which meetings and which municipalities are open to the public, and she does have a listing here, I think we can get that on the website, Pat, so that's a good thing. The only other public announcement I have is, I did talk with our clerk, Dale Cross, this afternoon, and I told him I'd speak a little bit on the upcoming election and the mail-in ballots. It's, you have four options. First off, I have to say, this is not the clerk's decision to have this mail-in ballots the way they're set up. This is coming from the governor's office, and everybody in New Jersey has to abide by the governor's office. So you have, everyone should receive a mail ballot. You can return that, you can sign that ballot, seal it, put it back in the mail, send it back to the clerk's office. There's 11 municipalities that will have drop boxes, which also sign them, seal them, put them in the drop boxes. The municipalities that don't have drop boxes is only because you have a shared one, like Carney's Point, Ben's Grove, Salem doesn't have a specific drop box because we have 5th Street location right here with the board of elections there, which is the other option that you can, anyone in the county can do. You come into 5th Street Board of Elections and drop their ballot there, or you can go to the polling places on election day and take their ballot there. If you have a problem with your ballot at the polling place, or you lost it, or for whatever reason, they will give you a provisional ballot to fill out. This is a paper ballot. No one will be using machines this election cycle, except those who need it with special needs and ADA requirements, the disabled. No one else will be voting by machine. And as I said, these aren't rules that our clerk or our board of elections made up. These are rules that are handed down to them, and it's something we have to follow. What I do ask is that, I think every freeholder up here will agree with me. You know, this is not something to try to trick people, to fool people. This is not intended to be that. The clerk's office and the board of elections take this very seriously. Every ballot is counted. Absentee, or whatever they call it, the mail-ins, provisionals, everything is counted. They don't wait, and I asked that question, they would ask that, why? They hold the provisionals until after everything's counted? No, it's all part of the count. We have an extra week to count because of the vote by mail. As I said, the clerk's office and the board of elections, they're good people. They do not want to mess up this election. Remember that when you go in, especially at the polling places. These are good people doing a job for us in Salem County, trying to make this election as fair as it possibly can. I personally don't think that anyone wants to try to play with this election. We want a fair, equal election, and that's what all they're trying to do to get done. So that I just have to put that out there because as a comments about the election process, that's how it is in Salem County.
Well said, Charlie, thank you. And for all those that are listening, please vote. Charlie and I especially have, Charlie was separated by 1 vote in election, and I was separated by 13 votes in election after 10,000 votes. So your votes count, very important, so thank you. Where we at? I want to take a minute just to recognize everybody that's here. That's right. We have Lincoln from Old Township, thank you so much for being here. Patty, thank you for always being here. Appreciate always good to see you. We have Stacy Jennings, Pennington's daughter, Olivia is here, and her friend Gus. Thank you, Gus, for being here. They were going to sing the national anthem, but they're a little tired. Count on you next time. And of course, one of our solicitors, Joe didn't call us one of that smart. Thank you. And sheriffs, thank you again for taking care of us tonight. Moving on, we have public comment. You'll step to the front, state your name and address, and any public comment, please come up. Oh, I forgot, you're behind the poll, I forgot to recognize the press. Thank you. Go ahead. Anybody with public comment? Patty?
push that on anybody. Freeholder Hassler, presented the award to the FAP, the Crusader Award, and, he also acknowledged our own special Olympian, Sammy, made her day, made my day. So, thank you, sir, for always being there. I just can't say enough about the day. And lastly, as we said, you know, when everything else is being canceled, I haven't had any tickets to sell. But I do have 50/50 tickets for Habitat. They're having a drawing in December. They are $5 if anybody would like to purchase them. Thank you very much.
Patty, do you have more information on Candlelight Vigil? We'll put it on our Facebook page and on.
It was on Facebook.
Is there anything? Patty, where she.
Yeah. So, it just said 7 o'clock, Riverview, and bring your own candle.
Okay, and your mask.
And your mask, right.
Thank you.
Patty, remind me of tickets, this Saturday, at the Elmer Grange of Worklands are having a pork barbecue takeout, and the Alloway Worklands are having a chicken pot pie takeout, at the municipal building, and that's this Saturday. Anyone else in the public? Anything from, online? Nothing online? Okay, we have a closed session.
Executive, closed session, G1, resolution authorizing executive session County of Salem. Matters relating to litigation negotiation, the attorney-client privilege, and matters relating to the employment relationship.
Do we expect anything after the session? Any motions or anything? No. We anticipate about 15 minutes, we'll be going back. We do not plan on any additional business, so if you want to leave, that's fine. We'll just be adjourning after the closed session. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll accept the motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into executive session?
Second. Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. FYI, our next meeting date is October 21st. We will be at the Penns Road Municipal Building. We will not be here, we'll be at the Penns Road. One of our travel